Tonight, the family of the late Carol Bykov, a former volunteer, donated a whopping $1 million to the Spirit of the North Foundation as part of Festival of Trees. Plus, ROM Brandt Elementary is raising 100 hampers for 100 families in need this holiday season. And fundraisers, and more fundraisers. Cram a Cruiser fundraiser went down this weekend with police collecting donations at Save-Ons around the city. Good evening, folks. I'm Eddie Huband, and welcome to CKPG News. Our top story tonight, the Festival of Trees received an enormous donation of $1 million to celebrate and remember one of its kindest and most dedicated volunteers, Carol Bykov. Tommy Osborne has the story.
Her name will live for generations. What a legacy to have, and I think it just fits the Carol that we all know and love. It fits her beautifully.
Carol Bykov has been with the Festival of Trees since the very start, and to honor her memory and everything she's done for the community, her family donated $1 million towards the Festival of Trees efforts to expand the hospital's neonatal intensive care unit.
When I think of Carol, I think of family. I think of how important her family was to her and that connection that she had with her family and her grandkids. And so this donation is going to help support families at a time when they're in difficult situations. And I think that really speaks to Carol's memory about helping family, about helping our littlest patients, and about ensuring future generations have the very best start at life.
Calling Bykov the quiet heart of the festival, Cassie says her impact has been felt everywhere. Whether it's all the volunteers she helped recruit, running the children's workshop, or her unending commitment towards helping the community, Cassie says she can't think of a better way to honor her memory.
I don't know that we can ever fully put into words the gratitude that we feel for Carol and that we feel for the legacy that she'll continue to have. I mean, it really is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. You think down to an infant that's being able to be treated locally in Prince George versus being sent down to the Lower Mainland for treatment. How do you explain that impact? I mean, it is the greatest gift that you can give a family at a time when they need it most.
As for how the donation will be used, all funds raised will help expand the NICU's services through the creation of dedicated twin spaces, enhanced newborn care, additional beds, family spaces, and more. While the official number isn't in yet, the $1 million donation has helped tremendously in getting the Festival of Trees past their $1.4 million fundraising goal. Through the donation, the Bykov family and everyone else who played a role in the fundraising efforts have helped Prince George families for generations to come. Tommy Osborne, CKPG News.
Funds are being raised to support the donations of 100 hampers to 100 families whose children attend ROM Brandt Elementary ahead of the holiday season. Anna Burles has more.
100 hampers for 100 families. ROM Brandt Elementary School is hoping to raise over $16,000 to purchase and then distribute food hampers to support families in need over the 2-week Christmas break.
We realized that there was a greater need than what we were addressing, and each year we've grown the program.
It definitely hasn't always been 100 hampers, but it's evolved and it's grown, thanks in part to our amazing staff here and also the Rotary. 100 hampers for 100 families, just recognizing the importance of supporting our families.
Due to a number of pressures being put on families, the need is great.
Food inflation, increasing rentals, a lot of pressure on families, especially single-parent families and families that are living closer below the poverty line, of which there are many in the school catchment.
Throughout the school year, students receive a hot breakfast, a hot lunch, and if needed, can take food home.
We want to recognize that we are sometimes feeding kids twice a day, and while they're away for 2 weeks, we want to be able to offer that support as well and keep it going while the kids are at home.
With the success of growing the program, Acting Principal Kelsey McWhinney says that behind the success is every single person at ROM Brandt.
I would say it's every single person in this building puts their heart and soul into this work. They come in every single day, and this is just kind of an add-on to what we're doing already. I have to say the staff in this building is like a group of people I've never worked with before. They're incredible.
If you wish to donate to the program, we will have the instructions on our website, ckpgtoday.ca. Adam Burles, CKPG News.
More fundraising news. Some Save On Food locations had some extra police officers hanging around this past weekend, and not for the reason you'd think. Caitlin Pobersnick reports.
Lots of organizations are doing charity events right now, and the RCMP had their own this weekend as well. They hosted their annual Cram a Cruiser event.
So today we are outside of 3 Save on Foods locations trying to stuff our police or cram our police cruisers full of groceries just in time for the holidays, all benefiting the Salvation Army Food Bank.
The RCMP have been doing this event for a while now, and throughout those years they have worked with several other charities, but regardless of who the donated items are going to, Prince George is always willing to help out.
Normally Prince George is incredibly generous, and we have to have runners come and pick up our overflow. So today I brought out our bun wagon, as we like to refer to it as, so hopefully we can fill this one up once, if not more.
People were so charitable, in fact, Corporal Jennifer Cooper had to take a couple breaks throughout the interview to help gather some donations.
Thank you very much. I can't move much, I was just staged. Thank you very much. Oh, I've caught ya. There we go. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
You too. Happy holidays. Whoop.
Many families stopped by the cruiser to let their little ones drop off the food, and as Corporal Cooper says, it's a great time to teach them what it means to help out.
Events like this are really important in the community for multiple reasons. Yes, kids get involved in donating to charity. It opens up a great topic of conversation for families at home. But it also gives police officers a chance to interact with community members, especially our little ones, in a way that's incredibly non-threatening. Everybody's smiling and happy. So, it's a great way to reinforce that police are community helpers with our kids.
If you missed out on the Cram a Cruiser event, that's okay, because the Salvation Army is always looking for non-perishable donations year-round. Caitlin Pobersnick, CKPG News.
And rather than paying the bus fare, you can donate food for a free ride instead. BC Transit's annual Food for Fare campaign started today and runs until Wednesday. You can donate a non-perishable food item to any bus or handy dart, and all donations collected are supporting the Prince George Salvation Army. The campaign has been running for more than 30 years now and usually raises about 300 to 500 pounds of food. And BC Transit is optimistic they'll reach or even surpass those numbers this year.
Now that we're back to pre-COVID ridership levels, we're expecting to have a big season this year with a lot of donations. Obviously, there's families that are struggling a little bit, and especially as we are coming out of COVID, there's a number of people that have a hard time during the holiday season. So to be able to give back to those families, for them to be able to have food on the table and have actually holiday season, a great holiday meal, I think it's a great opportunity for people to be able to get back to their community.
The biggest Finance and Audit Committee meeting of the year went down this afternoon. Why was it so significant? Well, it's the one meeting of the year when it's decided how much taxes will be increased to pay for city services. Cheryl Jan was there, and now she's here to discuss how it went. So Cheryl, let's just start with the big question. What's the damage this year in terms of tax hikes?
Well, it started off as a very modest 5.88% tax hike, which was great, but then things progressed throughout the course of the meeting, starting with the tax value that the city generates from PG Pulp, for instance. It went from $1.3 million to $838,000. So that's quite a significant kick in the chops. Then we have administration suggesting that we increase the snow budget. The idea behind this, from going from $9.8 million to $10.4 million, was to kind of build up a bit of a reserve. Currently, well, the snow budget is a strange budget because, unlike a fiscal budget, it runs from January to December.
Right.
So this year's budget we've got a month to go. There's currently a $1.3 million reserve in that budget, but one big snowfall could wipe that out in a heartbeat. So they are hoping to increase the budget to $10.4 million. 2 contract talks are underway. Mm-hmm. That's the firefighters union. Their contract has been expired since 2021. There's also the 2 city QP locals, inside workers, outside workers. Those talks are underway right now. There are some speculation, guesstimates that might cost the city about $3.6 million to the bottom line. So, and there's more.
Yep. Well, speaking of more, what are the other extra things that the city's noted that need funding?
Well, every year the city gets asks from certain organizations. Typically, the RCMP will ask for additional officers. Those are called service enhancements. So they're not part of the base budget, but they come to City Council, make their case and say, hey, I need, in this case, the RCMP wants to increase their police force from 149 to 153. The fire department is asking for additional 70 staff, and little things even like $100,000 for REAPs, but they all add up.
Right.
So if all those enhancements plus the base budget are approved, 10 million, 10.4 for snow, et cetera, that would see our tax increase to about 7.9%, which is about $160 for every household. Now, the one budget we haven't talked about is road rehab. That's another biggie. Administration is suggesting that budget be increased because of inflationary rises like asphalt. It's gone to $160 per ton from 141. If approved, and then the chair of the committee, Councillor Corey Ramsey, asked for another $300,000 to be added to the road rehab budget. When the dust settled, by the time the meeting was all over, we're looking at 8.17%.
Right. Okay. Wow.
That's a huge jump.
It is a big jump, and Cheryl, you'll have more on this tomorrow, right?
Yeah. Okay. And the thing to note: this is not cast in stone. This is just finance and audit.
Right.
Council will hash the budget out in January.
Very interesting stuff. Cheryl, Jan, thank you very much for that. And in other news, ICBC and police have launched a month-long education and enforcement campaign to combat impaired driving on BC roads this holiday season. It started this weekend. Police are ramping up enforcement, looking for impaired drivers at counterattack road checks throughout the province. As 21% of all crash fatalities in BC involve impaired driving, ICBC and police are urging drivers to plan a safe ride home this holiday season. If your plans involve alcohol or other drugs, plan ahead to get home safe, use a designated driver, call a taxi or rideshare, or take transit. More politics now, as new polling has shown the government remains popular here in BC. Adam Burles joins us now to discuss. So Adam, what's the sort of broad breakdown of what the polling numbers are showing right now for the province?
Yeah, polling numbers right now show the governing NDP in a strong lead. If we take a look at some numbers here right now, you'll see that the BC NDP is in quite a commanding lead at 44% among voters. The Conservatives have jumped quite a bit in the number of polls. There's now a 9-point difference between the Conservatives and the United Party, former BC Liberals, and you can see here that's what people think of the leaders right now. Kevin Falcon at the bottom of that pile, 20%, John Rustad at 25%, and David Eby at 39%. So some strong numbers from the NDP right now as we head into the latter part of winter, moving into the new year. So it's really Conservatives are really taking the steam away from the BC United Party. BC United numbers are really kind of in a free fall at this moment.
Right, and I have another question as well, but I want to stick to this for a moment. If these poll numbers continue, what could this mean for the BC United Party and the Conservatives?
Well, if these poll numbers continue to an eventual election, that we could see another strong NDP majority government come election time, but we could see the Conservative Party taking away votes from the BC United Party. That's a very strong possibility at this point. We saw that the gap between the Conservatives and the United is widening. That 9-point difference last month, they were about neck and neck. So you can really see that the United Party is losing steam to Conservatives in rural areas particularly, but also in urban areas too, where they need those votes. They need votes in Vancouver, they need votes in Victoria. So it's really going to be a test for them come the election time if the polling trend continues the way it is.
A big battleground for both parties is going to be our area. What's the sense on the ground in terms of the momentum for the BC Conservatives? Do you sense that the Conservatives are gaining momentum here in Prince George?
Well, it's very possible. I mean, John Rustad has a long history in this area. He did represent Prince George as a part of his riding for a while before the map changed. Now he's east and to the west in Vanderhoof, pardon me. But there's still a lot of support, I would say, for John Rustad and the Conservatives, particularly in a rural setting like ours. We may be 70,000 people, we may be an urban setting in the north, but that really doesn't matter. The votes here in PG and our area are really going to count for Rustad. If he can take this area, he can do well.
Yeah, and you mentioned that the next election, all these things are looking forward to that. There's rumblings it could be in the spring. What's the significance about that if that is the case? Excuse me.
Yeah, from what I've heard from a lot of folks, experts in the political field too, it sounds like a spring election is likely. We don't know 100%. That's entirely up to the premier to call an election. But if I were to put my money on it, I put money on a spring election, considering that the budget and throne speech are happening one after another in February. So keep an eye out for that.
Getting very interesting. Adam Burles, political correspondent. Thank you very much. The lowest gas price in Prince George is currently sitting at $1.51.9 a litre at Costco. The lowest price in the province right now is in Quesnel at $1.49.9 per litre. Alberta currently has the lowest fuel prices on average in the country at $1.27.8 a litre, while BC has an average price of $1.68.7 a litre.
Good evening, everybody, and happy Monday. It was a very gloomy day out there today, and going into the evening, a lot of cloud cover as well. Good chance of showers as we move through the evening still. And southwesterly winds are really gusting as we move forward into the evening or overnight period. But tomorrow is kind of a day where we start to see our conditions improve a little bit. So for Tuesday through the afternoon hours especially, we will start to clear out, hopefully, because today it wasn't really the nicest sky out there. But tomorrow we should see a peak of sunshine in there somewhere. But again, a lot of instability in many areas along the south coast, especially with an atmospheric river coming through, and that's making its way into parts of the interior. But for us, it'll just be mostly clear as we move through the afternoon hours, and then going into Wednesday, Thursday at this point looking quite dry as well. Break down those details for you a little later, but the air quality, all the readings good for Prince George, Quesnel, Vanderhoof, and our snapshot is a wonderful picture. Beautiful, beautiful shot of a moose from Roy. So thank you so much, Roy, for capturing this. It's a great, great picture. Almost looks like the moose is looking right at the camera. Nice crisp photo. Thanks for that. Snapshot at ckpg.com. Email us your photos, and of course you can find us on social media. Eddie, I mentioned earlier how kind of gloomy it was out there, very dull. It felt quite dark today. So I've got some better skies to talk about in the coming days.
And the National Council of Canadian Muslims says it's deeply concerned about an incident in Victoria on Sunday where a man in a vehicle swerved towards and nearly hit a protester at a pro-Palestinian event. Victoria police say the man was arrested and released pending a future court date. And the protest was able to continue with no other incidents or disruptions. Now, in a statement posted to social media platform X, the National Council of Canadian Muslims says it has seen similar violence on the rise across the country. BC's Human Rights Commissioner said last month that the ongoing conflict between Israel and Hamas has triggered a surge of discrimination and violence towards both Jewish and Muslim people in the province.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Domino's. Feed your team tonight with a delicious mix and match combo. Chicken, pizza, pasta, or dessert for just $8.99 per item.
The Prince George Cougars traveled down south for a 3-game trip against 3 different U.S. teams recently, and they couldn't have asked for better results. Anthony Correa is here to break down the Cats' weekend.
Cougars play 3 games in 3 nights, starting the road trip Friday in Tri-Cities. Zach Funk has tried the move a couple of times, and he finally pulled it off. Between the legs, and he shelves it. What a goal by the Cougars' 20-year-old. He wasn't done as he would score 2 more uninterrupted goals for a natural hat trick. That and Joshua Ravensbergen's 30 saves would lead Prince George to a 4-1 victory, starting the road trip off in a pretty funky way.
Yeah, I honestly didn't know it went in. I thought it hit the bar, so I was pretty bummed out. But then when the horn buzzed there, I kind of knew something was going on. So yeah, pretty happy that stuck in.
From there, it was off to Spokane for the opposing team's teddy bear toss. But the Cougars playing spoiler early on. Goals by Oren Strom, Funk, and Andre Becker would get the Cougars off to an early lead. But a special moment for Cougars rookie Jet Lajoie as he scores his first career WHL goal. Spokane would get a couple back, but the Cougars go 2 for 2 as they take Game 2, 6-3 final. Finally, it's off to Portland where the Cougars wrap this trip up with a bow, or should I say with a burger, as Josh Ravensbergen stands tall. The rookie goalie turns aside 33 of 33 to record the 5th shutout of his young career. He wasn't the only one who impressed. Zach Funk with 4 goals on the weekend, and he'll add 3 more this game. His second hat trick in 3 days, 7 goals total. The Cougars pull out 3 wins in 3 nights in 3 different buildings. They also become the first and only team to hit the 20-win mark in the WHL. And after a successful weekend, the Cougars' record is 21-7-0-0.
The game in Tri-Cities was a real solid game. Spokane was probably a game that we got off to such a quick start, and we could have been up like a by a bigger score, and then we kind of let off the gas. They got a goal, their teddy bear toss night, and they got a lot of momentum, and we held on and won that game. And yesterday against Portland, it was just a real solid effort from everybody.
It's a big confidence boost for us. I think beating good teams is really going to set us apart. I think we know we're a good team, and we're starting to prove it to everybody in the league, and that's nice to have.
Yeah, I think it shows us that we're one of the best teams in the league, and gives us confidence, believe in ourselves. But yeah, it's a really good road trip.
They now return home for 2 straight against the surging Victoria Royals. And don't forget, Saturday is the Teddy Bear Toss, so get your tickets to that one because it will be a very good game to see. Anthony Correa, CKPG News.
And as Anthony mentioned, it was another great weekend for Joshua Ravensbergen between the pipes, as the one who's known as the Burger has won WHL Rookie of the Week honors. Ravensbergen won a perfect 3-0-0 in his trio of starts, and he also made 1 relief appearance in the 5 games the Cougars played this week. In his appearances, the recently turned 17-year-old recorded a 0.84 goals against average and a .937 save percentage. His league-leading 5th shutout of the year also came this week. With those numbers, the rookie netminder leads the entire CHL in all major goaltending statistics. That includes goals against, save percentage, shutouts, you name it. He's also won his last 9 starts in net for the Cougars. The TSX is down 43 points to close at 20,410. The Dow Jones is down 41 points to close at 36,204. And Canfor went up 34 cents to close at $17.18.
Happy Monday, everybody, again, and good evening. Yes, we are looking at a bit of an improvement in terms of our conditions as we move forward through the next few days. But again, backtracking a little bit from earlier today, it was dull, it was dreary out there, it was dark, it was very gloomy to start off our work week. Better news is coming our way, though. We are going to get a bit of a clearing coming in. So our future cast looks quite active, that's for sure, especially through the southern half of the province and along those coastal sections. But going forward, we shouldn't see too much in the way of precipitation after tonight. So again, chance of showers still in there. Winds are gusty this evening up to about 50 kilometers an hour. Those will become light, but clearing as the day goes on tomorrow. So likely by early afternoon, but even into sort of the early morning hour, or later part of the morning rather, we will see a bit of a transition back to more of a drier trend. So again, pretty much the rest of the week looks nice. It looks like this, mild, it looks sunny, it looks pretty nice actually for this point in December, and not an average temperature trend either. We're in a warmer air mass right now. 6 for our day tomorrow rather. Fort St. John will see that as well. Mild through the southern half of the province as well, interior, Okanagan, south coast, but very wet with an atmospheric river that's really pushing in. So lots of areas along the coastal sections dealing with heavy rain showers, and again through parts of the mountain passes in the interior region of the province, lots of warnings in place. But we are in for a dry day, so there it is there, lots of sunshine. As you can see, 5 degrees Burns Lake, 4 up in Mackenzie. It's certainly not going to feel very cool, that's for sure. West coast is wet as mentioned into most of the day tomorrow. 5 degrees in Edmonton with clouds. We're looking at a few sunny breaks in Regina, Winnipeg, but a little cooler in terms of temperatures, and the same as we go further east. So -5 in Montreal, very cool air mass coming through and bringing with it some temperatures that are dropping down significantly. So it will be a very, very cool day in Montreal tomorrow. And then over down through Toronto, a little bit milder, but not by much. Sun cloud mix into our later part of the week, as I mentioned. So it really begins tomorrow afternoon for the most part and continues into Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at this point as well. There's not a lot in terms of moisture coming our way after tonight. So -4, partly cloudy Burns Lake. We're looking at great weather for the next few. It won't be till the weekend or later even into the weekend that we see another shift in the pattern. 5 degrees for the afternoon tomorrow. Mackenzie, some rain and drizzle tonight, down to 0 up to 4 tomorrow, and then a bit cooler as we go forward through the rest of the week. So another mild day tomorrow, and a brighter one as well, but after that back down a little bit more to closer to average temperatures for this time of the year. Showers tonight for McBride, really through the evening hours, not so much overnight. A few maybe lingering showers in the morning, but up to 8 degrees is a big jump in temperatures, and then down to sort of average from there. 3 degrees with snow and sleet potentially on Wednesday, and then drier into Thursday, Friday. In Quesnel, 0 for the overnight period. We are looking at some breezy conditions out there. beautiful tomorrow, and then it cools down. A little bit of ice possibly in the morning, so icy roads out there just with a bit of a cool down. +1 overnight tonight. Again, we are going to see some clearing as we get into the day tomorrow. So sunny and mild, clearer skies, plenty of sunshine holding into Wednesday, and then a bit cooler from there.
CKPG Sports is delivered by Domino's. Feed your team tonight with a delicious mix and match combo. Chicken, pizza, pasta, or dessert for just $8.99 per item.
As you know, the month of November is over, which means many Movember campaigns are also over. Now, we highlighted ours here at CKPG News last week, but now we feature another campaign as the UNBC Timberwolves men's soccer team teamed up with other schools from Canada West for the first time this Movember. Together, the 6 schools raised over $14,000 in funds, with the UNBC team alone raising $9,000.
Yeah, it's just really cool to see all these teams come together and kind of just have a friendly competition, use our competitiveness and use it towards a good cause and raise money for the Movember campaign. We've done it for the past 5 years, just like within our team, but when I pitched the idea of competing against the other Canada West teams, I think that adds like a sense of pride and like, okay, let's go smack these guys and raise a bunch of money for a good cause. And yeah, they're fired up about it, and I think our fundraising effort shows how willing they were to get out in the community and raise some money.
Great stuff there. Now, it was the weekend of hat tricks, and we'll show you the 3 best goal performances in tonight's CKP3.
Let's start with Brad Marchand.
Into the Columbus zone, Zacha to Marchand, a natural hat
trick! He records 3 straight against the Columbus Blue Jackets for his 6th career hat trick. Boston continues to roll. Next, Breadman.
Picked up, brought in deep, backhander, Brzezinski save, rebound, score! Artemi Panarin, give him the hats! It's a hat trick for
Artemi
Artemi Panarin!
Panarin electrifies Madison Square Garden with his 5th career hat trick. What a show. Finally, we end it with Zach Funk.
Now shoved in front. There it's trying to shelf it. Funk hit the bar. But when the horn went off, everybody stopped. Not sure what malfunctioned.
We can't show both hat tricks from the weekend, but we can show the first one against Tri-City. He leads the WHL in goals, by the way, as Zach Funk takes top spot in tonight's CKP3.
We'll finish off with our festive photo contest, which goes until the 13th, and we're going to pick a winner on that day. And tonight's submission is from Lori. Thanks very much, Lori. Very festive. This is just your classic ugly Christmas sweater, or just Christmas sweater, holiday picture. Love it. Keep sending those in. We have gotten some great ones so far, and they continue to roll in. So keep sending in those pictures. The prizes are a $4,000 gift certificate from the Prince George Airport and Uniglobe Sunburst travel towards a WestJet nonstop flight and all-inclusive vacation to Puerto Vallarta. You'll also get a $250 prize pack from all our sponsors. All you have to do is submit your festive photos to our website, ckpgtoday.ca, under the contest section. And that is our show for tonight, folks. Thanks so much for joining us as always. Your last look this evening is a very beautiful winter shot of Bear Lake Community Park. Have a great night, folks, and we will see you tomorrow.